Hello.
Miss Ed?
Hey, yes, this is she.
This is Mike Leeser. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I know I'm a little earlier from 4:30, but I got off my call at 4, or my meeting at 4 a little early. I thought, well, I'd try you anyway. I hope
Yeah.
that's okay.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's fine.
That way we can, that way you can get rid of me and go about doing the rest of your day.
Okay, sounds good.
Wait a minute now. So you'll have to forgive me. I noticed the area code. Are y'all from Louisiana?
I am from here. I grew up here and moved to Louisiana. Stayed in Louisiana about 25 years. Have had this cell phone number since 1995, and so many people have it because I've had it for a long, long time that I'm not going to change it. But yeah, we live here.
I wouldn't either. I've got an attorney whose cell phone. She's from Pennsylvania. Every time we call her, I'm like, why isn't it 817 or something?
Yeah.
I
know. I'm just.
Now everybody, they're so portable. You just carry it with you.
Right, and I'm not. I've had it too long to change it, so
Oh, yeah, I hear you. Boy, do I hear that. We still have an AOL email address in my house.
Oh yeah.
From the original days, we had to pay for it. Anyway. Well, I will tell you, I've read through your complaint. I apologize. It took a day or so for us to or a couple of days for us to get together. Glad I got to meet you and put a face with the name on Monday night, too.
Sure, yeah.
Plus, I listened that night. I didn't record anything, and they don't record the meetings, but I noticed it was just run along the lines of the email that you sent to Miss Merrick. I think that's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, my written statement is what happened, yes.
Okay. Yeah, and that's kind of what you were talking about the other night. And I just wanted to make sure that I had that. I wanted to. Is there? I'm kind of looking at your statement right now. Is there anything else that you remember, or this is a perfect layout of what happened that night. I don't want to make you have to go back through it. Other than, is there anything else that I can? For example, the gentleman's name. Do you know his name? I
do know his name, but my problem is not with him per se.
Yep.
My problem is that behavior was allowed to happen in a public setting.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. And I'm taking notes, so I apologize if I
That's okay.
Off here for a second. Okay. Yes, I remember you using the analogy of the classroom versus the other night when you were speaking.
Right.
Using the classroom analogy. I don't remember I don't think you used that in your statement, but I remember that from the other night.
Yeah, I didn't use that in my original statement because, it hadn't happened when, I was doing it. So,
right.
And then I got to thinking, so that's why when I spoke Monday night, I thought, I'm in a room full of educators. We know how to conduct things properly. So,
yeah. So you're an educator also?
I am. I retired from public schools in Louisiana. Yeah, I hold a master's of education degree, and
okay,
26 years.
I've got a very good friend
yeah.
that's a superintendent over in Louisiana.
Okay.
Very good. Yeah. I think he's in Bossier Parish.
Oh yeah.
So Acker Auditorium is where it occurred, correct?
Yes.
Can you give me kind of a layout as to, in your mind anyway, y'all are at a podium, Miss Merrick and maybe some other folks are up there at the front answering questions, where the police officers were in relation to you?
When I came in, they were standing at the back of the auditorium. I walked down front and sat close to the front, and I did not ever see them after that. Until the meeting was completely over and they came out to the parking lot. So I don't know where they were while I was speaking. Because I was not facing the back of the room. I was facing the front of the room. And the communications guy was bringing around the microphone to people as they spoke. We didn't go to a podium.
Oh, okay. Very good. I didn't realize that. I apologize.
Yes.
Like I said, I'll talk to you first. I wanted to get what you had to say, and then I was probably going to call Zoe and the communications guy and kind of get where he was and what he heard and didn't hear and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, he was.
Was he by you? Was was Zoe standing beside you when all this was going on then?
Oh yeah, because he was he held the microphone while the people talked rather than hand it off to them. I guess because it's, microphones are touchy. And
Yep.
he held it, and so he was right there. And then he was doing a fantastic job. I mean, and then he would run.
good.
He would run to the next person, and then run back up to the next person, and then run back to the next
Yeah.
person.
That's funny. Our church, when we do those type of meetings where people are going to ask questions, at the church conference or
Right,
whatever,
right.
they have something that they have these two little boxes that look like dice, and they're foam encased microphones, and you literally throw them around the room.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you get the poor little lady has a question, you hit her right between the eyes.
Oh God.
Yeah, everything goes well until then.
Until that, yeah.
Then pastor's got some explaining to do. I just saying.
That's funny.
So Zoe's standing right beside you. How? And you were at the front of the auditorium. So were Miss Merrick and was she probably?
She was.
How many feet she was in front of you, probably?
Oh gosh, I am horrible with distance, but I'm gonna say
That's okay.
10 feet, maybe.
Oh wow, so that's pretty close. Okay.
10 feet. I don't know. That may be closer because I was on the second row, and she was right there at front, answering the questions.
Well, you're probably right. If you were on the second row, it probably wasn't very far then.
No, it wasn't far.
Okay. And I like the way as you tell your story, you kind of blew it off the first time. Like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Right.
And,
Well, because I teach high school, so I was like, yeah,
Okay, you get it. That's what I started out as, was a high school teacher, football coach before I went to law school.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, I get it. Believe me.
Yeah.
Hecklers, I'm kind of used to them, especially as a football coach, more so.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I can't even imagine.
So, what I'm going to try and do is probably talk to a few more people that were there. I know you said that you were sitting by Lowell, and I probably will ask him, Mr. Taylor, kind of what he thought, what he saw, what he heard there, so that I could get just to verify it, back it up. And then probably at that point get a look at the auditorium, kind of get an idea of where everybody was, and find out why, for example, if the police were here, why were they here? Is there a reason that it wasn't addressed? Why didn't anybody think to address it? That type of thing. And then probably get back to you with some sort of response, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. I will say that I have been contacted by a couple of people since then who I didn't even know before, that have apologized profusely for the behavior.
Okay. Is it somebody you can tell me who it was, or?
Andy Strickland was one of them. Now I don't know if he wants to get involved at all, but
And if they don't, I'm not going to force it. I hope that's okay with you.
Oh sure. And I believe his name is Mr. Cox, the man that was at the school board meeting the other night that was given he's a principal, and he was given the presentation about the New Horizons school.
Yep, that's Mr. Cox.
Okay, he came up and he said, I just wanted to meet you. I wanted to apologize to you for that behavior. He said, I honestly thought the guy was teasing you and y'all were friends. And I said, no, absolutely not. He said, I saw that happening and it was, I'm just apologizing. So, and that's kind of a paraphrase, but
Well, yeah, because you handled it like the high school teacher that you are.
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody thought, okay, we're good. So yeah, they may have. I don't know. I wanted to, like I said, I want to talk to Miss Merrick, and I want to talk to Zoe, and I'll probably reach out to Mr. Cox and Mr. Taylor, and see if I can kind of triangulate where everybody was and why it wasn't, and then try to figure out why it wasn't addressed.
right.
So,
And I'm just really puzzled and confused as to why. Immediately following the meeting, it happened again, and it was loud, and I had profanity screamed in my face, and I do not engage.
I'm sorry.
I do not engage in that. I said, no, and I had started out a friendly conversation with the individual, and I said, no, sir, have a good evening. I'll I'm out.
No.
And I left.
Yep, that's
because
smart.
I do
That's
not
to escalate it.
I do not participate in that at all. And then I went outside, and my mother was there, and she was pretty upset because she had watched it all happen. And I said,
Okay.
and I went outside, and then the police officer brought out a young lady who told me the same thing had just happened to her, just like my statement says. And that's when I thought, this isn't right. There's nothing right about this. So,
Yeah, I've got to kind of track that down too. Why were you bringing the young lady out? I think she might have been the victim.
yes.
And or how did all that mess start? So well, if you'll give me a few days, I'd appreciate it
Okay.
to track all this down. Is there anything? And I didn't mean to start off you short. Is there anything else that you can share or would like to share?
I know that the school board president was sitting about 3 seats down from my mother, and she was
Oh, okay.
on the same row as the individual that was causing the problems.
Oh, good to know. Okay, very good. Yeah, Mr. Galbraith.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. No, that's good. Anything else you can think of?
I mean, everything's pretty much in my statement,
Yeah, it was.
just
Yeah, your statement was. I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to make you have to go through that again.
yeah.
It was very
And
thorough.
again, when it was happening while I was speaking, I thought, oh yeah, heckle, they don't agree with me, so they're gonna heckle me. That's fine, but it just escalated, and it continued to escalate, and I thought, well, how many more times are we gonna go through this, before something's done? So I thought, this is just unacceptable. We're a room full of professionals, and then community members, elderly people were in there,
Yeah.
high school students
Well,
were
it's
in
like-
there.
It's like Monday night. Everybody clap for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And I mean,
okay,
that's the
that's
way I am. I mean,
Yeah.
you can disagree with me.
Get up there and go talk.
Right. You can disagree with me, and let's just agree to disagree. Just like I had told the individual, we had kind of tangled a little bit on Facebook, and I said, well, that's fine. Let's just agree to disagree. And when we meet in, person, let's just shake hands. And he wasn't having any of that. So,
Okay. Very good. Okay. But really, although he's the instigator of all this, it's really the more concern is why wasn't he something
removed.
wasn't done about him
Yes.
initially.
He should have been removed. Absolutely. I mean, if that had happened in my classroom, he would have been gone, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Because we all know when people's behavior is allowed to continue, it's either going to escalate or, these things are going to, the whole situation just deteriorates. So,
Yep. Okay. All right. If you think of anything else, please don't hesitate to call me.
okay.
My number's on the emails that I sent you.
Okay, great.
And then if you'll give me a few days and let me talk to a few more people, I will try to get you back a response as soon as possible. Okay.
Okay, and I did request the video footage when I did send my complaint, but then I did send,
okay.
and I was hoping that would be, my formal request, but just in case, I sent a separate request to Mr.
Okay, good.
Mr. Hassalini, or Hassanali, I can't say his last name.
I can't. That's why I call it
Zoe, yeah, he told me to just call him Zoe. I sent that to
Yep.
Zoe yesterday because I got to thinking, I hope they don't overlook that, so they do have that as well.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll make sure of that. Plus, I didn't realize they'd taken. I noticed you asked for video footage, but I wasn't sure that they'd taken any. So I want to look at it too.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I appreciate
All right.
you taking time to talk to me.
No, ma'am. I appreciate you, and try to go have a good rest of your evening.
You too. Okay. Thanks a
Thanks.
lot. Bye bye.